bench for Rochester and Doug Miller. But those experience, those in-game adjustments that are things that you learn with experience. I think they talked about in the Rochester broadcast about it taking 3 years for a player to really learn this indoor game, and a lot of very young players on this Rochester franchise.
Yeah, they're trying. Their franchise or their roster right now is built with a lot of local guys and having great college careers and locally. But as you say, it takes a good 3 or 4 years. Even when I came into the league back in 1994, 95, I'm dating myself a bit here. But even when I came into the league, it did take a good 2 years of training every day and getting into games and to get those legs and those executions that we're talking about.
Couple early chances for the Blast on that possession. You saw Adriano Dos Santos and Jonathan Mello getting chances here. And the Blast keeping the pressure on early as William Vanzella punches it up. Mello controls and sends it over to Richard Schmerman. The Blast in a switch. Victor France comes on. Thought for a second they might have too many men. Schmerman with a blast, left-footed, just off the crossbar. Victor France with the rebound, sends it back to Diesel, and the Blast will reset. How good are the Blast at doing that? They get the shot on goal, but they maintain possession.
Yeah, and I think Rochester right now is playing right into the Blast hands a little bit. They're sitting back in a little bit of a zone, a 2-3 zone, and allowing the Blast to get some shots off.
Well, they did switch to that 2-3 zone. They want to slow the game down and try and change the style of play. We see Mo Ndiaye step on the field. It'll be interesting to see Mo Ndiaye. There's a shot just wide. Mo Ndiaye will be playing on the back line tonight with the Blast injuries. Andrew Hoxie steps back into the forward role after missing a couple games, and Ndiaye will shift to the back. There's Diesel with the drive, blocked by Ortiz. He's been active early.
And one thing about sitting in the zone in this tight building, there might be some advantages for Rochester to slow the game down here because this floor is a lot smaller than what we normally see in the indoor leagues.
Well, we've seen teams have success filling the box as we see a breakaway here. Shot just wide as Meaga missed the net. Looked like he was caught between taking a shot or passing. Ortiz on the back line. He'll send it over to Wilkin. Wilkin's got to get it across that yellow line to move it. The short midfield here hurts the goalies more than anyone. William right on his line. He'll control it. Kind of a frantic pace here early on. Not a lot of possession time either way as both teams going back and forth.
In Rochester, you can see immediately they drop within their own third of the court.
They're not pushing high at all. Content to let the Blast possess in the midfield and run back and forth. Pereira, Mello, Dos Santos, Marco Nascimento, and Vinny Dantas sitting in the middle of that zone. Vinny controls, tries to send it back, knocked away. Good thought there to Mello, but unable to connect.
So you see the Blast will set up and try to get the ball deep, similar to almost to a power play situation because of how deep Rochester is sitting. The one way that you can get behind, if you can get behind the defense and then make runs through, you'll get some opportunities.
We'll see these crossing passes with precision. Vinny Dantas almost picked one on a deflection, but the Blast keep the ball in the zone. And there's a mistake as that'll come to the top of the arc for a restart. So Doug Miller matched up against longtime nemesis Danny Kelly and this Blast coaching staff, looking to gain an advantage with this 2-3 zone. I know it's not something that surprised the Blast. They expected to see that tonight. Vinny Dantas on the restart. He shoots just wide. Dos Santos with the rebound, sends it over to Donatelli. Donatelli with some fancy footwork. He chips it across. Victor pulls down. Blast content with possession. Adriano, 2 dribbles. Dantas across. There's the crossing pass across the zone. Mello now playing that point forward position. And Lucas Roque slips in on the bench for Vinny Dantas. Takeaway for Rochester, but again, unable to clear the offensive zone. This zone is working in stopping the shots, but it's not working in getting possession. Donatelli with the drive, blocked away. Diesel with the shot, France in the way. And there's Roque. And again, Schmerman controls it. The ball has not crossed midfield in the last couple of minutes.
You'll definitely see the Blast leading the stat sheets and shots this game.
Well, it's been interesting. The 2 games they've played, the shot advantage 72-16 for the Blast.
Wow.
So that's been a pattern for the 2 games leading up to this. As Diesel winds up, deflected.
This is very similar to a zone in basketball where you're out, you're moving the ball quickly around the perimeter, trying to offset and unbalance the zone so that you can get shots off.
There's a drive from the left foot of Schmerman, and again, the Blast control possession. This time it'll go back to William Manzella, but they settle. Jamie Thomas alone on the switch, left alone with Crawford. He'll get possession in the corner as Rochester switches out. They were on a long shift there. They were stuck in the defensive zone, couldn't sub out.
Yeah, I think Manzella was looking to get that long throw out so they could take advantage of them trying to change, but he couldn't settle quick enough.
NDI 1 touch down to the corner to Hoxie. The 2 big forwards getting the rare opportunity to line up against each other. There's Andrew Hoxie with a head ball, just deflected wide. Beautiful thought there by Adriano Dos Santos as he tried to work it across to Hoxie. Hoxie laid that 6'4" frame across, unable to finish it. Hoxie and Ortiz, the former teammates, both of them came to Baltimore in the same offseason. Actually, when Mike Diesel retired, they both came here to Baltimore.
Both from Rochester.
Both Rochester Lancers. Of course, Jeremy back. There's Vinny Dantas with space to the drive, save, and a bicycle kick to clear. A Blast are peppering Brian Wilkin, who so far has been up to the task. Nascimento works it across to Mello. Mello over to Juan Pereira.
You can see the Blast are definitely looking for the cross-court opportunities.
Working it back and forth, ton of patience for the Blast. They've had possession time. There's the shot. Juan Pereira blocked, and the Blast control again. Well, if you are 0-13 like Rochester is, you got to try something here, and it seems that they're going to be content with playing this 2-3 and keeping the shots wide. So far it's worked as it's a 0-0 game. And here's the breakaway. 1v2, and there's a shove, no call on the foul, and then Pereira spilled back. So it looks like that was Matt D'Amico. Sorry, we're having a little trouble with the numbers on the front here. They're only on the back. Across Donatelli with a shot, blocked again. Victor France unable to control the rebound, and that'll be a 3-line pass. A 3-line pass. How about that one?
3-line pass, you know, unintentional, but the rule's a rule, right? Yeah. He just went into to make a strong tackle there and a strong block, and it went over 3 lines. Unfortunate for Rochester.
A rare 3-line deflection as Donatelli will stand over top of it. Tries to lip it down to Dantas. Great job by Wilkin to step in front. Ball down, deep distribution. Vanzella there. France will be dangerously close to a 3-line, but it'll be just short.
Got to give Rochester credit when they do have the opportunity to hold the ball. They've gotten some chances. Here's a chance.
Great save by William Manzella. He looks across and screams at his defense. Unhappy with the opportunity there. We take a look at the stats right now. That's Williams' first save of the game. That'll be his first game. Wilkins has 7 saves on 7 shots so far. So midway through the first 7 shots as Vinny Dantas wins the ball, controls it, and settles. And after a brief flurry of Rochester possession, the Blast will settle back down. And, of course, Rochester goes right to the 2-3 zone, set up on the yellow line.
It might be advantageous for the Blast to look for an opportunity to counterattack on this zone, not allowing them the chance to set up. So right now, Rochester's playing pretty organized defense.
So just packing the box back there, and Schmerman will drive it over the boards. And with 6 minutes left in the first quarter, that'll be the officials' timeout. We'll take 1-2 here. Blast 0, Rochester 0. You're watching Baltimore Blast Soccer.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you? I think you need one of these. You're acting like a kid.
Yes, yes, yes. Have a blast and score big at Antwerpen Automotive. Jack is saying yes to every deal on all new and pre-owned vehicles, plus discounts up to $15,000 and no payments for 3 months. Now at all 10 Antwerpen locations.
Jack says yes.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you?
All right, we're back. 6 minutes left in the first quarter, and it's been interesting so far, Tariq. As we've seen a style matchup here.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, these teams are going to be very familiar with each other. I'm pretty sure Rochester knows about the Blast's firepower and how much they can score. So they've come into the smaller arena, smaller building, smaller court, and really sat back and packed it in and have weathered the storm so far.
Yeah. 7 shots, 7 saves so far. William Vanzella now credited with two saves there. So it's been interesting. I don't think that'll be called. No, looks like August Finn spilled in there, and that'll be the foul. William Vanzella helps him up, shakes hands. Merman will come across to Mike Diesel. Blast have gotten a lot of substitutions here. They've been working very short shifts. They do have a game here tomorrow night against the Orlando Seawolves. Diesel sends the ball down in the corner. Mello unable to get it across. He finds Pereira at the top. Pereira just wide. Lachuan gets his own rebound. Ball works out to Schmerman, who sends it across to Diesel. NDI with a shot. Tried to get it into Mello, couldn't find it. But the Blast maintain possession. Diesel with a shot and a draw! Mike Diesel from the yellow line. That's the 3rd or 4th shot that he's gotten off so far tonight, and this one found the back of the net.
Great shot, great opportunity. Again, Blast have been working the ball side to side, cross court, so they get the opportunity there with their shot. I think there was a little bit of deflection in front, but we'll take that goal anyway, either way.
And how fitting is that? On firefighter, first responder night, the firefighter with the first goal, Mike Diesel, and you see his teammate Jonathan Mello pump him up. Mike Diesel, the firefighter, with the first goal here tonight, and it was a drive from the right side on the yellow line. We see here the replay, ball worked around, NDI sends it back out. You see the workaround, and then the backheel pass to Diesel, one touch, and I agree with you, it looks like it was touched there by Rochester. As we see the second angle. Diesel with an absolute right-footed bomb. Looks like it went off Mayaga, and the Blast are up 1-0.
Dangerous pass there.
Rochester with one of their rare opportunities of possession in the offensive end. Mo NDI credited with the assist as Andrew Hoxie works down. Donatelli back to Hoxie. Hoxie unable to find it with his left foot.
Couldn't get the shot off, but that was the opportunity I was talking about. Get chances to counter against this defense before they get a chance to sit back in their zone.
There's Rochester on the counterattack, and I think the Blast agree with you. They just need Rochester to get possession.
Right.
They've been unable to do that, and this ball will bounce over the boards, and it will be Rochester ball just inside the yellow line as they look to sub. Jeremy Ortiz sends it across to Mayaga. Mayaga matched up against Jamie Thomas, looking to create some space. Mello slipping in, looking for the double team. And there's a turnover. Can the Blast capitalize on the restart or on the counterattack? We'll see. Mello, spins it out, gives them a chance. There's a shove.
Rochester was a little quicker in getting everybody back. By the time that Mello got the ball at midfield, they had 4 or 5 players back.
Merman and Dos Santos on the back line for the Blast. Mello, Vinny, and Victor France up high. Vinny looks to send it across, stolen away. And here comes Rochester on the counterattack. That's Meaga. Meaga dribbles it all the way down in the corner. And Rochester will settle. Ortiz works it across. And the ball works back to Wilkin. Wilkin inside the yellow line, and he'll find Mayanga. That'll be you agree with that call?
Yeah, it seemed more of a deflection to me, but ball goes out of bounds off that body. It's I thought he was heading the ball and more of a deflection off of his head, but like I said, rules are the rules. It's coming back to the top of the box. I don't think our defender realized where he was. He was that close to the yellow line. Try to make a good defensive play, but giving up an opportunity here.
Well, as you said, it will be called either way. Restart opportunity. There's the shot. Cunningham took the shot. That's Cunningham on the drive. Mello down in the corner on the counterattack for the Blast. He works it across, but Wilkin on the wall saves it. Distribution down to Lanco. And Ortiz will restart it. It's been a little bit better 5-minute period for this Rochester team as they've controlled possession. They put the ball down a couple times. They haven't had any serious scoring opportunities, but they've controlled the ball a little bit as there's a shot from Ortiz. William Vanzella doesn't have to touch it, but a scoring opportunity. And again, Rochester wins possession on the deep rebound.
They look like a completely different team, a relaxed and veteran-like team when they have ball in possession. But
we have a referee stops the play here, as I'm not sure what happened.
I think the ball, when it swung out from the defensive end, it hit one of the players on the Rochester bench.
Oh, okay.
So it should be Baltimore's ball going in here.
NDI will possess. It's like Rochester, it was a weird sequence there. It looked like the Blast were trying to sub, and then the play continued. Donatelli works it across to NDI. NDI lets it go to Juan Pereira. Blast leading 1-0, just inside 2 minutes left. Mike Diesel with a goal.
You can see the Blast right now in a setup similar to what you would see on a power play. 3 players around the outside, 1 player in the center, and 1 player deep.
Kind of the box and one
formation,
yeah.
Like a 3-and-1 formation.
Donatelli with the drive just high, and so the Blast look like to be content with taking these wide shots rather than working the ball down low into the corners.
You get a lot of advantage by working the ball down low. What that forces defenders to have to face their own goal to defend.
One other thing we've noticed is William Vanzella gets the ball as the restarts have been quick. Roque and Pereira looking to do 2-on-1 soccer, but unable to capitalize. Cunningham sends it down to the corner. Cunningham works it across, and there's a shot and a goal. That is Lanco with the goal. And Jeremy Lanco equalizes this game. 1:10 left in the first quarter, and Rochester tied 1-1 with the Blast. There will be no shutout here tonight. Take a look at this replay. It was a quick counterattack. That's Michael Cunningham works it down. One-touch soccer. And who was that? Marco Nascimento on the back line there?
Yep.
Or no, Mo Ndiaye.
Ndiaye's first night at defense.
First night on the back line, and he gets beat. This ball will get knocked out by Ortiz. The Blast will get the restart. So, he's a young, promising forward, a great athlete, a great body. Asked to play on the back line tonight because of injuries, and gets beat there. And the Blast are tied 1-1. And here's another opportunity. Ball all the way across, unable to find a foot to connect to. And the Blast will find possession.
So Rochester right now, it seems like with that last goal and these last couple opportunities, they're the ones looking to counter by sucking in the Blast offense into their end. As soon as the ball turns over, you see nothing but yellow jerseys sprinting forward trying to get into attack.
Tale of 2 parts of a quarter is the Blast dominant with times of possession, shots, and the 1-0 lead. And then here in the last 5 minutes of this quarter, Rochester's come alive and played competitive soccer.
Yeah, it definitely changed the momentum of the game.
We'll see again, just the drive right into Vanzella's hand, as it looks like offensively they're content with trying to win a head ball deep in the box on restarts. 15 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter, 1-1 game. Donatelli across to Thomas. Hoxie has the ball, 10 seconds left. Hoxie can't get the shot off. Great job by D'Amico to win that ball, and then here come Rochester. 4, 3, 2, 1, and a shot and a score. Rochester is leading 2-1. 1.6 seconds left on the clock.
I think the Blast relaxed a little bit. It was a clearance that went off the boards here. And a little bit of a lax attitude towards the end of the half. And on the end of the quarter, I'm not sure if they thought seconds were going to click off a little bit quicker, but Rochester were able to take advantage.
Laps here as we see the ball work across. Pass comes through, and it looks like it was Mike Diesel who thought the ball would go through, and it was an unassisted goal. Silbierto gets the goal there unassisted, and it is a 2-1 Rochester lead here as a shocked Baltimore or CQ Arena crowd looks on. You're watching Blast Soccer.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Our country has changed over the last 80 years. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're not just embracing this change, we're driving it in our own backyard. As a local not-for-profit, we're tackling some of the region's biggest health challenges and making care more accessible for you by providing access to digital tools, transforming healthcare for over 3 million of your neighbors, forging new paths to live fearless. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And we're back in Baltimore. Kind of a stunning flurry there. The last 5 minutes, the Blast controlled the first part of that quarter. A Blast goal at the 9:57 mark of the first quarter to take a 1-0 lead. Mike Diesel on the assist by Mo Ndiaye. And then from there, Rochester really started to dominate time of possession. And Tariq, what did that zone enable Rochester to do?
When you talk about Doug Miller's game plan, it's probably right to script. He gets the opportunity to have his players sit back. They take on a little bit of pressure, 6 or 7 minutes or so of playing some defense. They now have shown in the last quarter where they're energetic now. After playing defense for a little while, you see them now taking advantages on counterattack opportunities. And so this is going perfectly to script for Doug Miller's squad.
So you talk about what's happening on the Rochester bench and what Doug Miller's talking about. You've been on the bench in the MASL. What is Danny Kelly talking to his team about? So
Danny Kelly's telling his team right now just to be patient. They're removing the ball pretty well in the first part of the quarter. The cross-court passes is where they're going to get opportunities. I'm sure he's telling them right now to think about getting the ball deep. If we can get the ball deep and make their defense have to face their own goal to defend, you can get some opportunities there. But for right now, the Blast really not to get frustrated, keep moving the ball, be patient, and those scoring opportunities will keep coming.
Well, this would be an historic upset, the likes of which the league maybe not has seen in a long time. As not only is Rochester 0-13 right now, the Blast, of course, only 8-6, but lifetime, you're talking about a team that is 20-0. 20-0 all-time against Rochester. This would be the 21st win. So if Rochester moves along here, this would be an historic upset for the ages. We'll take a look at the shots on goal. Rochester 9 shots there on 5 blocks and 8 saves from Rochester. There's a quick shot and a goal. Wow, we were going through 4 seconds in. I guess the Blast answered.
They answered very quickly right off the kickoff. 2 passes, and Vinny Dantes gets a shot off at the yellow line. Great shot with the left foot to the back post. So great opportunity there. And again, now the game's going to settle in a little bit more. Blast should not feel as anxious now, not being down on the scoreboard. Play with a little bit more patience, move the ball like we talked about, and get scoring opportunities.
Well, Mello, the restart, sends it down to Vinny Dantas. Vinny 2 touches back in the net. Vinny Dantas with a goal. And now Vinny 1 point away from joining the top 30 of the Blast top all-time scorers, and that was his 100th career goal. 100 career goals for Vinny Dantas. There, the big forward from Brazil, and that's a milestone goal here.
Definitely a milestone. Definitely a milestone. Anytime you can play in the same team or in the same organization, be there long enough, producing long enough. Hats off to Vinny and what he's done during his time here.
Well, and it's been interesting too, looking at these record books, and you see the point totals that were inflated by 2- and 3-point goals.
Yeah.
You see schedules where there were 40-game schedules versus, the Blast for a while we're playing 15-game schedules. Now settled on 24-game schedules. The ball come back to Vanzello, and the Blast will restart as Donatelli brings it up. But either way, top 30 in scoring for a franchise as historic as the Blast is a missed handball, not called there. Everybody saw it in the arena. The official missed it. And not called here as Tony Donatelli spilled. And
so he's definitely scoring, putting up producing the points and producing the goals with less opportunities to play. As you said, we played with 40 games in playoffs and 46 games if you were going all the way to the finals. So we definitely had some more games to play in and more opportunities to score. So his production has been off the charts when you consider the games played.
Fantastic start to his career. He set career high in goal last year with 23 goals. That would be his 22nd so far this season. So well on pace to set his career high in goals. That was in 16 games last year. This will be his 14th game this year coming in tonight. So the Blast tie it. We're trailing for all of about 5 seconds. See the counterattack here as Pereira works it back down to Vanzella. Vanzella confident on the ball. No pressure. And then Rochester again surrenders, running all 3/4 of the field to go back to their zone.
They immediately are backtracking as soon as we get a foot on the ball without some pressure. They are immediately retreating to set up that 2-3 zone. At times it looks like a 3-2 zone as well. So Doug Miller's definitely coming in and trying to change the look a little bit here and there to try and confuse the Blast, but. The zone is what the protocol is for Rochester tonight.
We've seen Utica use the high pressure here as Dos Santos works it down. Kicks it back out to Nascimento. I think this is the first time we've seen this 2-3 pack zone as the team looks to fill the box, and it would lend itself to this style of arena, right? I mean, this style of play seems like it would work as Dos Santos wins the ball, sends it back to Thomas. Thomas with a shot off the crossbar. Jamie Thomas just missed the 3rd goal for the Blast, but the Blast win possession back. Hoxie tries to send it down to Dos Santos. He loses it. Rochester tries to run it down, but they will not.
You better believe it. Other teams in the league are going to be looking at this first quarter, how Rochester played. When you talk about scouting reports and scouting other teams in the league, to come into this building and play compact as they are, you better believe that other teams will probably start doing that. Rochester now gets an opportunity to put their foot on the ball in the Blast half.
There's a shot and a save by Vanzella as he pushes it wide to the right. Rochester wins possession. Alex Harling down in the corner fighting with Dos Santos. And then Dos Santos, veteran play there to kneel it back to his goalie, unable to play with his foot. Adriano having a great start to the season so far.
Smart, so smart to do that. You could see the Rochester players had their hand up as if Adriano was doing something illegal, but just using the veteran experience.
Well, you would think as many games as they played against Harrisburg, they'd be used to that, as Nelson Santana is the king of that move. He uses every part of his body to get it back there. I've seen him fall down and headbutt it back. Blast control possession. Richard Schmermond on the ball. He's got the big left foot. Victor France now trying to create some space. He does. He sends it across. There's a deep pass. Dantas unable to pull the trigger. Maybe one pass too far as Dantas sends it across. Mello with the shot. Swatted away, and Wilkins saves. Man, how many opportunities are you going to get if you're the Blast? And again, the ball sent right down into the box, challenging directly William Vanzella. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Blast. Mello dribbling, shot saved by Wilkins. That will not be a 3-line pass. Came very close, but it will give Rochester a chance to change out lines. The Blast will do the same.
We saw that last opportunity. Victor France got a very rare opportunity to go 1v1. He was able to do that and really break down that defense, that zone that we're talking about. Very rarely are you going to get opportunities to go 1v1, and you've got to take advantage of those. And Victor France was definitely doing that on that last play.
Juwan Pereira, Pete. So it looks like D'Amico tried to win possession, and D'Amico will be called with a foul. Interesting call there. It looked like it would have been Blast call. The ball will get walked up back to the top of the yellow line. Adriano didn't look happy about the ball coming over to him, did he?
No, he didn't. I think he was wondering about why they took so long to get that free kick off. He had an opportunity on the weak side of the court. And again, what we've been talking about is cross-court passing and trying to unbalance that defense by getting balls across the court very quickly.
Reed and Finn on the top of the line for Rochester. They'll be chasing Natiamento, Juwan Pereira, and Adriano Dos Santos. Donatelli and Roque down low. Haven't seen much from Roque, the forward just back. Missed a year because of injury and then was playing beach soccer. Now back in his 4th game for the Blast since his return. Guy they're looking for scoring opportunities is here. Finn gets an opportunity.
Great to see him back in the lineup. Gives the Blast another scoring opportunity, but not just with goals. He's an excellent passer of the ball. So if you're wide open on the back post, he's going to try and find you. He's a very unselfish player, and for a striker, you always need that.
One of the things I really like, too, is about how he fits into this Blast system. You have Vinny Dantas, a big forward, Andrew Hoxie, a big forward, Mo Ndiaye, a big forward. Roque presents a different kind of look, and so it creates matchup problems. You got 3 of the biggest forwards and best forwards in the league, and then you bring Lucas Roque out there, this small, crafty, left-footed or right-footed specialist. He's dynamic scorer, but he also gives a different look for the defense to have to contend with.
Yeah, he will definitely get out there and find some pockets that pockets in the defense that a big striker can't do or can't accomplish or execute. You'll see Roque float a little bit off to the back post. He finds it and gets himself in the gaps where makes himself really dangerous for defenses to figure out what he's doing.
Good thought by Andrew Hoxie, unable to connect. The Blast have 4-on-1, sends it across Dos Santos to Mello, shot and a goal! The Blast capitalized on the 4-on-1. Adriano Dos Santos won on the quick counterattack, sent it back, and then the give and go with Mello.
This was a rare opportunity that you saw Rochester with only 2 players back. They tried to actually counter against the Blast. Adriano Dantas, he stepped up and won the ball at midfield and was able to get a give and go situation with Mello to score that goal.
You see there, he wins possession. Mello give back. Nice move by Adriano to step over top that ball, not get caught there, and then get that pass across, and Mello no doubt on the finish. And it looks like we're going to take an early media timeout here in the second quarter. The Blast back in the lead, 3-2. There's 7:47 left in the second quarter, and you're watching Blast Soccer. We'll be back.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you? I think you need one of these. You're acting like a kid.
Yes, yes, yes.
Have a blast and score big at Antwerp Automotive. Jack is saying yes to every deal on all new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus discounts up to $15,000 and no payments for 3 months. Now at all 10 Antwerpen locations.
Jack says yes.
And we're back with the continuation of the second quarters. The Blast lead 3-2. After falling behind 2-1, the Blast have stormed back with 2 goals here in the first 8 minutes of the second quarter.
Very positive response from the Blast, getting a quick goal, start of that second quarter. Now they're stepping up and pressuring. So again, what we talked about, Danny Kelly in that break, telling these guys to stay patient, stick to the game plan. Now we should start to see the Blast really putting their foot down and getting offensive opportunities.
Rochester trying to slow the game down, sending the ball back around. Rieger sends it back to Harling. Harling gets it across the yellow line, tries to send it down low. That's Wright down there. Wright controls it but loses it to Thomas. Thomas fighting forward along the boards. Beats one player, can't beat a second player. Rieger wins possession. Crawford over there. Rochester will work it across. Is Finn unable to settle it? Wilkins sends it along the boards. And here comes Rochester. Reed, one-on-one with Diesel. Mike stymies him. And there's Ortiz with a shot. Just wide, and he gets another shot. And that time, William Van Zell is able to catch it. Ortiz, 2 shots on the possession. Either one could have gone in. Neither do. Blast will sub out. Victor France presides over the ball. Nascimento getting some time on the field tonight. Victor France with a drive, just wide. Lucas Roque was down there, was able to work his way in there, as you mentioned earlier. Nascimento in the corner. Blast doing a better job of getting it down low this quarter.
You can definitely tell that that's been a directive from the staff. Get the ball down low, get some opportunities to crash the box.
Adriano has room on the wide side. Nascimento can't find him. He turns it over, but Victor France wins it back.
Good job by France there. You can see at Rochester, every opportunity they get to make a steal, they're going to look to counter. So if you can win the ball right back, you're going to stay on the offensive end.
Mello and Dos Santos with the give and go. Juan Pereira has space on the wide side. Instead, Mello tries to work it down to Roque. He can't get there. Here comes D'Amico, but D'Amico has the ball taken away, and the Blast get possession again. Well, this looks more like the beginning of the game. And the Blast just would not allow Rochester to possess the ball. As Juan Pereira with the drive. That ball had a knuckle.
Looked like it was on target and knuckled away from the corner. Great shot, great drive.
I'm not sure. I guess it
Good
hit that
attempt.
pipe that kicked off. I thought it was
that
the bar.
extension.
Yeah.
So they're going to say that hit the net because it hit the extension there.
Weird knuckle there on that shot. And again, the ball goes into the box, and there's the flick-on header that they've been trying to get. I guess offensively they feel like that's their best opportunity. Usually you see teams in this arena try and go to that corner.
They're trying to use this arena to their advantage with the small size and put William Van Zella under pressure every time they get the ball. They're chucking it right into his area, forcing him to either have to come out and make that save or make that catch, or if they don't have the opportunity, if he doesn't come out, they're trying to flick it onto another player.
Andrew Hoxie's had a good game down in that corner. He's worked the ball 3 or 4 times across the goal mouth, hasn't found anybody to connect with. He will get one here soon. As the big forward steps in front, unable to win possession, but Mike Diesel does. Hoxie now 1-on-4, taking on the whole Rochester team like he's Jon Snow.
You might get a penalty here.
And then we do see the blue card is Mike Diesel. I believe that'll be Mike Diesel gets the blue card. as he does go in the box. So there you go. It's a Mike Diesel night. He's the first responder, gets the first goal, and he gets the first blue card.
First penalty of the night.
There you go. Well done, Mike Diesel. So for the Blast,
his buddy's going to love you. He's going to be hearing about that from his fireman buddies.
For the Blast, an uncharacteristic 11th place in the league in penalty kill, something I know Danny Kelly is not happy about. They're at 56% on the penalty kill. Rochester, 14th place in the power play. They've scored 19% of their power play goals. So the 14th ranked power play against the 11th ranked power play kill, and Rochester capitalizes quickly. 12 seconds in, and Rochester has tied this game again, 3-3.
Rochester taking the opportunity to move the ball into their zone with the man down and gets a good shot. Thought he was trying to pass to the back post, but I think William was thinking the same thing and kind of leaned and got himself a bit off balance, and the ball goes into the near post.
Looks like it was deflected. That's Alex Harling with the goal. Looks like it was deflected off Tony Donatelli. Harling will get the no, they will credit an assist. Mayango gets the assist. He has an assist here tonight, and it is 3-3 as the Mello tries to work the ball in. Wait to see what the call here is.
Looks like it'll be a corner.
Okay.
Mello's setting up. He's got his fingers up for the number 2, so we'll see what that play is.
Mello's on the ball. Vinny Dantas, Jamie Damas down low. Dos Santos across. NDI at the yellow line lurking. Dantas with the pass, and Jamie Thomas with the save. Unfortunately, Jamie Thomas plays on the same team. Jamie Thomas spilled. Dos Santos works it across just wide. Dantas with a shot. Headed away. Well, the Blast almost took the lead there a couple times, but unable to capitalize, and NDI loses the ball. Finn possesses it, sends it down to Soberto.
That was close to a 3-line pass there.
That was very close to a 3-line pass, just over. Dos Santos sends it over to Dantas. Dantas on top. The Blast will take possession. 2:50 left in the game, or left in the half. In the game. I'm trying to get out of here early tonight. 2:50 left in the half. 3-3. This is clearly Rochester's best effort against the Blast so far this season. They've played well. They've had a couple close first halves this season. They played St. Louis well. It's a game that I can remember that they played well in the first half, but clearly not the effort that Coach Danny Kelly, David Baskin wanted to see from the Blast against this zone.
The zone it has confused them a bit. I think they've gotten some great opportunities.
Ball goes
But
low,
what it's really done, it's slowed down their firepower. It's really slowed them down. The game it almost comes to a screeching halt when they sit back like that. So Blast has still got to be patient and move the ball around and get some opportunities.
There's a turnover. Walensky drives, blocked away. Rieger loses possession, and the Blast settle. Tony Donatelli looks up at the clock, sees 2 minutes left. Works it across to Victor France. Victor France across the board, and again, there's 3 Rochester players there. Ortiz works it back out. Jake Reed down low. The Blast win possession back. The Blast will settle and move forward. Adriano's got a lot of room if he can get up there. Rochester making the switch. Nascimento calls for the ball. He gets it. One touch. Blocked by Harling. Harling sends it up to Soberto. Soberto makes a move, beats Donatelli. Shot and a save by Vanzella. He shakes his head saying, "You're not going to beat me from that far away." Wright goes to the ground, looks at Adriano Dos Santos. Adriano says, "No way you're getting that call."
Yeah, he was trying. He definitely took a dive there, trying to get to contact. He actually forced the contact from Dos Santos, and referees figured him out. Didn't make that call.
50 seconds left in the tie game. Nascimento sends it down the low to Donatelli. Donatelli has space, but Mayango is there. Nascimento shoots and scores. Donatelli tried to work it across 2 times. The second time was the charm as Marco Nascimento back in the lineup, and he picks up the goal.
At 2-3 zone, they are defensively finding themselves in very good positions when the Blast try to play the ball off the boards. It seems to be going right to a Rochester player. But you see the second effort, Donatelli played it directly, not using the boards, and he would finally find a player wide open in the box there.
Not sure what's happening here as Rochester's now huddled up on the field. The coaches are out. The referee's over talking, asking if they called a timeout or. There it is, the timeout. They were looking for a timeout. He just didn't call it.
You got to make sure you get the timeout from the referees before you take your team out on the field.
That's a veteran move by Doug Miller because if he gets done talking in time,
Yeah.
you don't have to take it,
They
right?
didn't have to take the timeout. Jeez.
All right, so the Blast capitalize here and take the lead 4-3. And Tony Donatelli was working a couple times. We saw that replay, and I like what you said there because there's been a couple possessions now where they've tried to go off the boards, and that deflection's gone right to the man in the middle of that zone. Whereas this time the pass went straight through, and they found success.
Those are the opportunities, like that 2-3 defense. You're almost a center in basketball. That center defender, he's sitting right there in the box, and he's going to be their one that can get the first chances to defend the balls off the box. Now, if you can beat him with a straight cross, which Donatelli did in that last play, he's going to be a sitting duck there because now he's got players coming in behind him where he can't see. So that's what we saw in that last goal there.
So for the Blast, 4-3 lead coming out of the timeout. 41 seconds left in the half. We will not have interviews at halftime today. From the coaching staff. We're switching around roles tonight, so I'm up here tonight, so no interviews with David Bascom, but we will have some halftime conversation as the Blast win the ball back. Schmerman settles it, sends it across to Vansella. The Blast will have another opportunity with about 20 seconds left if they can work the ball up. Diesel positions his body, works it down to Pereira. Pereira bumped off the ball, no call. Ortiz now with a chance.
That should have been a foul there. Pereira was definitely bumped off the ball here in the top third. He had a nice flick over his shoulder and was ready to get the shot off. He was definitely bumped off the ball. Should have been a foul.
And then a good foul by Schmerman on the other side as Ortiz had some momentum and going down, but Schmerman uses his hips to knock him down a little bit and slow the momentum, get the Blast defense back as Diesel takes a shot to the stomach. 10 seconds left. Ortiz on the ball. 5, he tries to shoot, goes way high. I think he had a little more time to try and do something there, but maybe not sure how much time he had. 4.8 seconds left. You saw Rochester work the ball down in this amount of time to score at the end of the first quarter. The Blast will try and do the same thing. Mike Diesel has plenty of room. Just dumps it in the corner, and the Blast will be content to take a 4-3 lead into the half.
I'm a little surprised there. They didn't take the opportunity to throw the ball into Rochester's half. Same thing Rochester's been doing to them offensively. Why not take the chance and chuck it into their box and see what happens?
Especially with the 6'4" forward Andrew Hoxie on the floor. Yeah. But we'll talk about that more when we come back. Right now it's 4-3 Blast. It's halftime. You're watching Baltimore Blast Soccer. We'll be back with the second half.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because connect with your local agent or visit us online.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Our country has changed over the last 80 years. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're not just embracing this change, we're driving it in our own backyard. As a local not-for-profit, we're tackling some of the region's biggest health challenges and making care more accessible for you by providing access to digital tools, transforming healthcare for over 3 million of your neighbors, forging new paths to live fearless. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The story is changing. The words ever evolving. Bolder, braver. We are architects of opportunity, and what we're building is more than buildings. It's pride. College is capable of being more, and every day we're proving it.
Now we're back with a special halftime interview. This man really needs no introduction, especially from me, but Blast owner Ed Hale on the broadcast joining us. I guess you used to do this on the regular basis.
Yeah, I
you
did
used
it.
to come in and do the State of the Blast broadcast, and we're excited to have you here tonight.
Well, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be playing Sam's team. Sorry Sam couldn't be down here, but we're having a tough time tonight. These guys with the zone defense makes it very difficult for us to penetrate it, but we'll see what happens.
Now you mentioned Sam, Soccer Sam up in Rochester.
Yep.
Now I heard in his honor you're going to do a 45-minute halftime today as well.
Yes, I am.
Just like him.
I forgot my outfit though.
So fantastic job they did up there. He's always been great in
Yeah.
drawing the big crowds up there. Consummate salesman. Great opportunity they've done up here. Talk about what you're doing here in Baltimore with the CQ Arena and the crowd. You got a new vice president of soccer operations and a lot of exciting things. The game day has changed here. Talk about that a little bit, Ed.
Well, we're happy to be doing the Guns and Hoses. We do it every year. The Police Against the Firefighters, and we raise a considerable amount of money for a couple charities that are police related. And Amy Caprio got killed last year, and her family's here. Yeah, she was killed on duty. And there we go. The cops have scored. So, it's a lot of fun, and we raise a pretty good amount of money for them. So we're happy to do it every year. And listen, we have a new group of people that are doing our sales now, and General Manager Gianni Tumanello, Dan Gill. These guys are doing an unbelievable job. Things are looking very much up. Oh, they almost scored again.
You want to do play-by-play? We can.
Yeah, come on.
So,
But
Ed, you talk about the excitement that the Blast and the things that are changing here and what you're seeing from the Blast, but let's talk about the league overall. You know, it's no secret that the league had at various times and various iterations of the league. At one point, you broke away and created your own league. We've been down to 5 teams before and playing those same 5 teams. Now the league looks pretty healthy. We have some teams that are drawing pretty well competitively. You know, the Blast are fighting for a playoff spot instead of worrying about if they're going to lose a game all season. What are you seeing from the league overall and its health?
Well, we have the top 4 teams in our conference get in, so we're number 5. So we have some work to do, and I like it. I like the strength of the owners in our league. We had a couple of hiccups this year, but we've overcome them, and we're looking forward to a strong year this year. And some of the teams on the other side, on the West Coast, are doing very well. But this could be, there are, aside from Rochester, there could be, anybody could get into this. And on the other side, there's going to be some tough competition when we get up. We play tomorrow here, and then we go out to San Diego, and then we come back and play Harrisburg. That's going to be a tough game.
Yep.
Harrisburg, as we all know, until Carl got there, it used to be a walkover. No longer. With Pat Healy there as their coach, they've got some good personnel. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, they've taken a couple of Blast players out there and really built a good franchise out there, and the Blast competing with them for a playoff spot.
Yep.
And you saw what happened in that Kansas City game, a goal with 0.2 seconds left in overtime.
That was unbelievable. That was a great game.
It was.
I thought Harrisburg actually outplayed them, and they had a little fluky goal, and they lost it.
Double deflection there. Not the worst thing in the world for the Blast. And, of course, now they're traveling. They're in Kansas City tonight. They're playing St. Louis tonight. They're playing St. Louis tonight, and they have another game tomorrow against Milwaukee. So a tough road trip for Harrisburg and Pat Healy's boys. So as you look to the future of the league, and you look at, you say, a strong year and successful year for you, what are you looking for the league? Are you looking at expansion, stability? What do you want to see from the league?
Well, we have a few teams that are interested and have made applications that are going to get in. We'd like to strengthen what we have, and we think that we're going to be somewhat stronger next year, but we have a couple teams that are going to come in different cities that we've never been in, and I'm looking forward to. We want to make sure that the Orlando team gets stabilized and either stays or goes someplace else and is strong. And Cops have scored again. so we're So anyway, we hope right now that we're going to get a few more teams in, stay at 16 to 20 teams next year, and just build on it. Our TV stuff is getting better. We have better, I think we have better owners than we've ever had. Since back in the old days, we had a certain class of owners. We're getting a little bit better class of owners now.
Mm-hmm. And so with that growth and with that excitement, where do you see the Blast fitting into that? Do you feel like this is a team that's going to continue this dominance? Do you see that the Blast, I mean, I know your personal feelings, you always want to win every year, but do you see that change? See the action down on the field here. Getting excited. Do you see the Blast kind of coming back to the pack on that, or how do you see the Blast staying at the top of that?
We're always going to be in it. That's just the nature of myself, my coach, my general manager. We want to be in it. Our players are totally committed to getting the playoffs, and that's when we want to peak. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Every year we want to make sure that we're in there competing, and every game is going to be tough. Like this game is tough tonight. We have Rochester is really playing very well. I'm very impressed with the way they're playing. We should be able to be, we should prevail, but it's not going to be easy. And we don't want to have easy games. We like to have tough, competitive games, but we want to win every game. Sam wants to win the games. The guys in San Diego want to win. The Mexican teams want to win. So we definitely, there's nobody that does not want to really prevail and win and get in the playoffs. So I think that our owners now are better, and we just need to get a few things squared away, and we will.
So overall, you'd say the state of the league, the state of the Blast, things are good.
I would say as good as it gets. We're doing very well this year. Revenue-wise, sponsorship, merchandise, concessions, everything that we could do. Ticket sales are ahead of last year, so we're happy about that.
This is exciting, Ed.
Yeah, it is.
Things are good, and we're excited. So
yeah, and then I'm looking out here and seeing Wakefield playing. What the hell's that about? Look at that. He's getting the ball now. What is that?
PJ Wakefield out there sends it across.
He's got just like that. He's got an assist. That is so unfair. The firefighters don't have a shot.
We need to get Diesel out here to help him
out. That's true. Oh yeah.
Well, Ed, thanks so much for taking the time to come in and talk with us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all that you do for Blast Soccer. We watched that Rochester broadcast last game, and they talked about what Soccer Sam means to the Rochester soccer community. Somebody grew up in the Baltimore soccer community. You are that person, and you're the guy that
I'll tell you what, Soccer Sam is my favorite owner, aside from myself.
Well, you two have a bromance, but it's built in this thing where you guys have owned soccer in your community. You've built it. You've done it to your detriment sometimes. You've really bled and sweat and owned it, and we appreciate what you've done to keep the Blast Soccer here in Baltimore.
Well, thank you, and Sam does the same thing up there, and I wish him all the success, other than tonight.
Other than tonight. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hale.
Okay.
And we'll be back with the second half. About 5 minutes left. The Blast are leading 4-3. We'll be back. Thank you.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because connect with your local agent or visit us online.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Our country has changed over the last 80 years. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're not just embracing this change, we're driving it in our own backyard. As a local not-for-profit, we're tackling some of the region's biggest health challenges and making care more accessible for you by providing access to digital tools, transforming healthcare for over 3 million of your neighbors, forging new paths to live fearless. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The story is changing. The words ever evolving. Bolder, braver, We are architects of opportunity, and what we're building is more than buildings, it's pride. College is capable of being more, and every day, we're proving it.
And we're back here in the CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, as we see on the floor the annual firefighter police game wrapping up, and familiar faces down in that game. You saw somebody down there you knew, Tariq.
So PJ Wakefield, former Blast player, is in the police department now, and David Cash, former Harrisburg Heat player, is in the fire department. Chris Schomburger, former player. So some familiar faces, and those guys still can get around and still can play the ball and still showing off their skills.
Police officers won 4-0, and PJ Wakefield 4 assists. Speaking of assists, let's take a look at our first half highlights. So we see here, ball works across. Rochester with the save from William Van Zella comes across, and then the Blast will get on the board first is Mo Ndiaye with a back heel. Mike Diesel with the drive and the deflection, and the Blast led 1-0.
It's a great shot opportunity. Those guys did the little 3v2 or 2v1 situation, and were able to score.
Rochester answers back as Lanco with the goal. It was 1-1, and then Rochester right at the end of the half, 1.4 seconds left. Rochester took the lead, 2-1 Rochester, but that lead lasted about 4 seconds. As you see Mello, this is the restart to start the second quarter. One touch pass to Vinny Dantas. Dantas works it across to his left foot, shoots and scores. The Blast look like they would start to capitalize as the give and go rather, Dos Santos to Mello, and it's a 3-2 Blast lead. But Rochester again answers back. Ball works across and off Tony Donatelli, and it's a 3-3 game. But the Blast weren't done in the first half, as right before halftime, they scored the fourth goal. Donatelli to Marco Nascimento. Nascimento, of course, missing last year with the injury, coming back this season, and he picks up his goal tonight. And that leaves us 4-3 coming into the third quarter. Shots on goal in the first half. The Blast had 22, Rochester 11. Not quite the usual disparity, but pretty strong still, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think we were expecting that. Anytime you see a zone situation, a team come and play zone, the shots are going to be in the favor of the home team. We'll see. It's going to be pretty interesting to see if Doug Miller sticks to that game plan now. I think their team has shown that they can play the ball a little bit offensively. So it'll be interesting to see if they stay in the zone through the rest of the two quarters.
So Danny Kelly goes back in the locker room. He has the opportunity to talk to his guys. He told them before the game they were going to see this zone. They've seen this zone from them, especially in this small field. You talked about patience. You talked about working the ball around. You talked about working the ball low. Anything else that they were talking about in the locker room?
Well, I thought Victor France did a great job when he had the 1v1 opportunity. If you're able to beat somebody 1v1, you're going to have those situations and those opportunities happen. That's a great advantage to now unsettle your defense now because one player's out, left out. So those opportunities, I think, will come together. They keep moving the ball, keep having chances with cross-court passing. But now the one intricacy that you can add in is if you have a 1v1 opportunity against that back line, try to take a guy on and get a shot off.
Blast wearing blue and red special jerseys tonight. They're going right to left on your screen. Rochester in the all yellow kits with the blue socks. And here we have a restart as Finn arguing with the restart, but Donatelli will get the ball. Donatelli and Pereira working it across, and we see right away the 2-3 zone. Although at times it's become that box and one, that 2-1-2 zone as well. So that middle defender is flexed up.
Yeah, they're giving it some different looks. I looked up one time.
Dantas sends it across. Nascimento with some space, but unable to finish. Wilkins slips his right hand down and knocks it away. Nascimento and Dos Santos can't figure it out together, but Pereira is there to save it. And the Blast again controlling time of possession. Now they're clearly focusing on working down to that middle point forward, as that was the third or fourth pass that came across into the middle there.
And I think another thing that Danny Kelly is definitely going to mention at halftime is when can we counter? Can we look at those opportunities where the Rochesters do have the ball, and can we counterattack and get behind this zone quicker than we have been?
You see now Schmerman goes down in the middle and collapses into it. Roque is staying behind the zone, unlike Vinny Dantas, who came up in the middle of it.
And that's one of the differences that you'll see from that striker position we talked about. Roque he can float and find pockets behind defenses, whereas Vinny likes to stand up in front of a defense and post up with defenders at his back.
Schmerman will get called for the foul. Rochester motioning for the card as the big defender crashed in and spilled. They will not get the call. They will get the restart opportunity, and Schmerman picks up the foul. And restart for the Lancers, as they are in the position they have not been much this year, and that's in a close game in the second half.
They're moving the ball pretty well.
Of course, the Blast playing for that fourth playoff spot to get into the playoffs, an unfamiliar position for them. They've already lost a game this year that they probably shouldn't have in Orlando. They definitely can't afford to lose another game that they should win.
And with Harrisburg sitting one game in front of them, they're really upset about that loss in Orlando.
Well, then you look the other way is NDI with a shot and a goal! Mo NDI with the flex in more ways than one, as the big defender tonight drives the shot just under the crossbar.
Huge shot opportunity, as we talked about, just from moving the ball quickly across the court.
So Mo NDI playing on the back line tonight. We saw him struggle a little bit in the first goal that he allowed, and it was almost from the exact same spot, maybe a little farther forward than Mike Diesel scored his goal earlier, but the same type of drive, just went high and beat Wilkin. Mo NDI with the goal. Mello picks up the assist. Mello with a goal and assist tonight. And the Blast take a 5-3 lead as Andrew Hoxie wins the ball back, has to beat the official. He's got space, sends it across. Mello just misses picking up the goal. Well, the Blast coming with the pressure early on. There's a ball across to Hoxie. Hoxie settles, looks, but then sends it back to Dos Santos. The Blast will continue to work it around. Dos Santos has some space, but right, good job of clearing it out. But again, the Blast maintain possession. I'd love to see a time of possession chart here tonight. I know we don't do that in this league, but it would be pretty incredible as Nascimento gets it down to Hoxie. Hoxie's head 3 or 4 of those chances, hasn't been able to capitalize on it, but he wins possession back. And now Hoxie's going to get called for the foul as he was getting mugged.
It's a pretty strange call considering he was the one on the ball, had the ball at his feet. The defender jumped all over his back, but now he gets a foul call against him.
Mayanga draws the foul. Hoxie had the ball. Schmerman will win possession. Schmerman's been playing for a while now with the point accumulation. His next blue card will be a 1-game suspension, so he's done a good job since he's arrived in Baltimore not picking that card up. Donatelli to Dantas. Schmerman with space, left foot drive, and a goal.
That's
Richard
a goal
Schmerman.
exactly from the situation we were talking about. We get the ball down deep to Vinny Dantas. He's able to look for Donatelli coming across the box. Donatelli barely wasn't able to get a foot on it, but he came in right behind him and finished it off with a nice right foot goal. Right foot or left foot?
Left-footed drive,
footer,
yeah.
awesome.
Schmerman, the only natural lefty on the Blast team, and that ball tailor-made for him as Donatelli works it down. Dantas flicks it across. Donatelli lets it go, and then you can just see that swerve is so hard. When you get that left foot, you get that natural curve coming across. And the Blast starting to pull away as Richard Schmerman gets a goal here, and the Blast now have a 3-goal lead. And Vinny Dantas picks up his 49th career assist. We saw earlier he had his 100th career goal. Now his 49th career assist. Somebody's missing a shoe. Well, looks like Mike Diesel will come off. And Roque draws the foul as the Blast will have a restart. D'Amico picks up the foul for Rochester. And the Blast will possess again. NDI with some space, sends it down, Roque! Exactly what we talked about, Roque finding that little pocket. NDI in the same position he scored his goal. He doesn't shoot, he works it down to Lucas Roque.
So instead of looking for the shot, he looks down to the back post. And Lucas Roque, he's such a dynamic player on the ball, but he knows exactly where to place himself to find these pockets to score behind defenses. 3rd
goal since his return halfway through this season for the forward, 5'9" forward. And we see here the ball works around, and then the pass, it was looking like a nutmeg pass that came through, and Lucas Roque just sitting down low underneath that zone. And the Blast have seemingly figured out the zone here. We'll see a quick whistle on the restart, as I guess they'll call Rieger for leaving too early. That'll be a call here as Rochester will get another chance. Silberto sends it over. That's Wright wearing number 3, not listed on the roster, but wearing number 3 tonight for Rochester. It's been a couple additions and changes on the Rochester rosters we're trying to follow here. Mello has Hoxie. Hoxie with the shot. And almost served as a pass as well, but Hoxie, who's had some playing times, struggles, and you see Hoxie spilled there, goes up and over. That's a long way to fall for him. Andrew Hoxie's had some struggles this year. He's missed a couple games, hasn't been playing as much.
Missed a few games from injury. It always sets you back, no matter what level you're playing at. When you miss games from injury, you're trying to come back, you're rehabbing, you're spending the time to try and get back to 100%. So he's just got to find his legs, and the legs is what carries you. The legs is what gets you the goals. Once he finds his legs, he'll be right back in a routine.
Seems to be moving much better today than he was in the last game we saw him here at home. As he goes back to the box. Nascimento sends it over to Dantas. Dantas playing high now as Mello's down low. Mike Diesel works across. Jamie Thomas on the ball. Schmerman with a lot of minutes today as Mo Ndiaye was forced on the defensive alignment with Jeremy Raley and Kalu both being out due to injury. Of course, the Blast have another game to play this weekend against Orlando tomorrow. 5:05 from CQ Arena. Schmerman tries to go for another game. Yeah, that's a heat check shot right there, man. He was feeling himself. Is he going to do it again? He works it down to Dantas. Dantas across to Mello. Mello
And finding that ball down low to Dantas is really paying off for them.
Dantas, look at that move. Vinny Dantas with the cheeky play, and you're right, they found something with that low post. Mo NDI on the far side now. Didn't like what he saw, sends it back to Dos Santos. Now he likes what he sees and takes out the people in the expensive seats.
Got a little adventurous with that take.
Jeremy Ortiz and Lucas Roque meet at midfield, the former teammates, with a hand slap and a smile as they share a championship ring. Tony Donatelli on Mayanga, and the Blast are playing a high pressure. Now as Tony Donatelli tries to not allow them to work the ball down, instead they do. Crawford has it in the corner, matched up against France. And Rochester, I think that was their first offensive possession of this half where they've sustained it.
I like that call by Danny Kelly to keep the pressure on. Don't allow Rochester any opportunities to get momentum back right now.
William Van Zella with the restart, sends it along to Mo NDI. Rochester had scored 1 goal in 2 previous games against the Blast. They have 3 here tonight. Lucas Roque down in the corner. Does not agree with the call, as the call came from the far side. We haven't talked about the officials tonight, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
They've not had too many calls that were controversial. We have senior official Mark Bailey on the near side, who just made that call. And just over on the ball, that's Dustin Killick, who's there on the other side. Donatelli tries to work it across to Lucas, but is unable to complete the pass. But the Blast maintain possession.
Rochester right now is sitting in at 2-3, and very disciplined with it, very organized. If they don't have a full opportunity to break out offensively, they are happily willing to concede possession to the Blast.
David Wright picks up the pushing foul as they've tried to get very aggressive with the hands, keeping that space on the top end of the zone, and Mello pushed down from behind. Mello will be on top of the ball now. He finds Pereira. Pereira just high. Juwan is not happy with himself as he had a lot of space there. And that will be the official timeout.
Get those free kicks opportunities. You just got to keep the ball on frame. Even if it doesn't go, the shot doesn't go in. If it stays in bounds, it creates other opportunities. So very important to keep that first shot in play.
7:26 left in the third quarter. The Blast leads 7-3.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because connect with your local agent or visit us online.
.26 left in the third quarter. We're coming out of the official timeout, and the Blast leads 7-3. This has been a closer game than probably anybody expected, except maybe Doug Miller and his Rochester Lancer faithful, and I'm sure Soccer Sam sitting back in Rochester watching right now would be the other person on that list. But
we were talking over under maybe 15 or so, but haven't gotten to that.
I think the Blast were definitely expecting a little more of a wider open game after outscoring Rochester 20-1 in their 2 previous games. But here we see as William Van Zella has to punch it through. That will that be, I couldn't see where it hit. It came inside, but no, it will not be a top of the arc restart. And so, again, Doug Miller just pulling out the bag of tricks. He recognizes that his team should not beat the Blast with the talent they have at this point. You know, they might get there, but, you know, he's played indoor soccer for a long time. He knows the tricks, and he's trying to even out. That ball will ricochet back in.
Taking advantage of the size of the building. He's telling his goalkeeper right off the goal kick, let's put it into their box, almost like an outdoor mentality. Put it into their box, get a head flicks, and see what happens.
3 goals here for Rochester. We talked about it earlier, as there's a lot of other MASL soccer. William Vanzella will step in front. And the Blast will control. A lot of other games coming up tonight. The Wave playing the Commons, that has implications for the Blast in the playoffs. And of course the Heat playing their second game in 3 days as they take on St. Louis in this 3-game road trip. They have to play St. Louis tonight and then Milwaukee tomorrow. Tough 3-game stretch for the Heat, and then for the Blast, the best case scenario would be a win here tonight and a Heat loss in St. Louis, and all of a sudden it's a tie for that 4th playoff spot. So for the Blast, you know, they have to focus on what's going on with them, but at some point in this season, with a couple games, left to go, they're going to start looking at the scoreboard as well, and that's what you have to do when you're chasing, which the Blast have not done in a long time.
It's been a long time since they've been in that position where they're looking up, trying to get into the playoffs. Normally, towards this time of year, they're ones just kind of relaxing and waiting for the home field advantage.
And there's a goal, Tony Donatelli from Andrew Hoxie. We talked about the Blast working it down low in the corner, and Andrew Hoxie's had about 4 of these plays so far tonight where he's worked across. Nobody's been there. This time, Tony Donatelli was there, and look at that, the baby's coming. Tony Donatelli expecting a child. Andrew Hoxie, patient, looks for the pass across in the zone, and Donatelli there to finish it.
Yeah, that left side corner spot seems to be that spot, that crucial area where if the Blast can get the ball to that spot there and make the runs through the box, they're having a lot of joy doing that.
Tony Donatelli picks up the goal, and for Tony Donatelli, that's kind of a big one as he passes Danny Kelly on 10th on the all-time, or 15th on the all-time points list for the Blast. So Tony Donatelli passes his coach there, which is kind of a, an interesting thing to do. You know, obviously Tony's been here for a while and moving up, but now he gets to look at Danny Kelly and say, hey, I've done it better.
They'll be joking around about that in practice for sure.
Dantas with the drive, doesn't find net. Vinny with a quick spin in the shot. He gets another shot, but not a goal. Cunningham now on the counterattack for Rochester. He's got D'Amico low. Instead takes the shot. Donatelli picks up the block and then the score. Rochester with the 4th goal of the night. Matt D'Amico on the deflection, and he beats William Vanzella through his legs.
Yeah, that was a tight shot that was in tight. Pereira tried to stick his foot out for the block. It nicked him just off the heel and went through Vanzella's five hole.
We see here Cunningham works it down, doesn't initially pass to D'Amico, but instead takes the shot. The deflection comes across, and the ball works into D'Amico, and D'Amico one-touch goal. We'll see if they give an assist here, and they do. Cunningham picks up the assist, so assist for Cunningham, and D'Amico picks up the 4th goal for Rochester. And this game's not over. In this arena, you can score goals in bunches. And so for the Blast, 3.5 quarters to go, or 1.5 quarters to go, is Ortiz with the drive. Vanzella equal to it. Juwan with a bicycle kick to clear the zone. Rochester, though, maintains possession. This has to be the longest that Rochester's had sustained possession. And just as I say that, the Blast get a 3-on-2. Mello, Roque unable to do anything with it. Just behind on the distribution from Mello.
Yeah.
And now here comes the counterattack for Rochester. Ortiz alone on NDI, and Rochester will settle.
Mello had a good opportunity on a 3v2 there. He drove the ball at the defense. We always say when you're doing a 3v2, attack the middle of those 2 defenders, draw a defender towards you, and then try to lay off. He tried to lay off in that situation, but it was a little bit behind Roque on that pass.
just a step between the Blast and likely their 9th goal of the night, but instead Rochester now with the offensive possession. That was an interesting play there from Rochester. We got guys wearing different numbers on their shorts
and on their
and then on the
jerseys.
rosters. We're trying to figure it out here, folks. We're doing the best we can, trying to figure out who took the shot there. Looks like that was August Finn. August Finn with the shot high, and now that'll be called. I guess they're gonna. That's interesting. So they're gonna rule it was outside the corner. Yeah.
Right.
Could have been ugly, but Dos Santos found Donatelli along the boards. Smart veteran play from the two Blast leaders. Dos Santos has NDI in that spot where he scored and assisted from, but Reed does a good job of closing out quickly.
Rochester's making an adjustment and defending and pressuring a little bit higher than they were when NDI got that shot off.
We'd seen that earlier with no pressure on top of the yellow line, and that was a three-line pass. There it is, it's called. Wilkin thought about it too much. He was, it's caught no man land, and Tony Donatelli recognized it right away.
I think you're exactly right. He couldn't decide whether to go long or to go short. Got himself caught in two minds there.
Donatelli to France. France with the drive, just wide. Hoxie needs it down to France. France with a shot off the crossbar. Hoxie just wide. Dos Santos settles and shoots. Man, oh man.
Hoxie can't buy one tonight.
Andrew Hoxie looking for that goal. He got the assist.
Great opportunity.
But just could not drive it down. And Victor France with plenty of room. Dos Santos had a space. Hoxie will look to get down low in the box. Dos Santos works it down to him. High. Was one of those ones where you throw it on cage knowing you got the 6'4" forward in front of the smaller goaltender. Brian Wilkin, much smaller than Andrew Hoxie. Donatelli and Dos Santos, the Blast lead 8-4, 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Hoxie finds it in that sweet spot, works it back to Donatelli. Donatelli with a drive. Wilkin equal to the task, and that'll be a top of the arc restart. And the Blast will sub. Andrew Hoxie has done everything but score a goal here tonight. The assist, the peppering on the outside of the goals. Big forward looking to find his verve as Mello will step onto the field. Mello, France, Donatelli, Dantas, and Roque for the Blast. Victor France touches it down to Dantas. Dantas across to Roque. And he's not happy with Lucas Roque and his positioning. And we'll get another top of the arc restart.
I couldn't tell if Vinny Dantas was looking to play the ball back post or looking to score. He had a great tip. Victor France found him wide open on the back post. Looked like he was trying to make an extra pass where he didn't need to.
And here we have a breakaway. Cunningham shoots and he scores. And it's 8-5. Cunningham, the breakaway comes off the restart. Mello tried to test the wall, couldn't win the ball back, and Cunningham goes all the way down the field. And as you see, the pass here comes, and Victor France kind of stuck in the middle there. He didn't commit to the ball initially right away. Kind of tried to ride the middle here. Looks like he gets ridden off just a little bit, but William Van Zella unable to win the one-on-one, and it's a 3-goal game.
We always talk about when you're playing indoor soccer, when you have free kicks, you still want to have balance defensively. I think when Mello stepped up there to win that tackle, once he didn't win that tackle, it really changed the balance defensively for the Blast and giving up a 2v1 situation.
Schmerman tries to send it through. Heads it instead to Diesel, who settled it down and send it back out to Pereira. Mike Diesel on the ball, picked up the first goal here tonight. Schmerman tries to work it across. Good pass, unable to find somebody. Ball pinballs around. Schmerman looks to settle it, instead kicks it over the wall. Wow, it looked like the Blast was pulling away and doing what we expected them to do, but no fight in this Rochester team. Have to give them all the credit in the world. Zone and restarts where they're sending the ball down into the box, all these tricks that Doug Miller's pulling out. But the one thing we haven't talked about is the heart and fight that we've seen from this Rochester Lancer team here tonight. They could have easily packed it in on the road trip, playing in this environment, but instead they've played heavy soccer here. And here we have another 3-on-2. Mayanga works it across. Mello just steps in. Finn
I think
had
that
some space.
speaks a lot to the character of their coach. Doug Miller was a hard-working player, scored a ton of goals, but there was never a night where he didn't put 110% effort into the game, and his team is doing that tonight.
You've been in this situation. I don't mean to bring that up, but with Harrisburg, you played with a team that was younger and struggled in this league. And how do you keep that mentality? And I know part of it is having younger guys that they're learning and teaching the whole time as the Blast work the ball around. But how do you maintain that enthusiasm, right? And how do you keep that? Donatelli looks to find Thomas and he can't. But how do you find that?
It's very difficult, and what you do as a coach, you just try to stay and build off the positives. We learn from the negatives, but you build off the positives, and they're doing so many things in a positive manner right now that it's easier for them to creep back on the scoreboard. But you try to concentrate on what you're doing positively and build from there, not concentrate on what you're doing negatively. You learn from that. You learn from those situations, but always try to build on the positive.
So Santos with the drive. Goes wide, and so a lot of positives here for the Rochester Lancers to build on. 8-5 with 30 seconds left. Moendiai tries to find Jamie Thomas, and he can't, and we've got an injured player. It looks like August Finn rolling around on the ground down in the box, so he comes up much quicker than it looked like he was going to be. There's the collision there between Jamie Thomas and August Finn.
Yeah, that was part collision and part block on the shot, so.
Brian Wilkin doing the patented William Vanzella. I'm going to take my time getting a drink in the box before I get the ball. And then William Vanzella has to do it again as the ball and a foul is called. Why? No, okay, that's actually good explanation by the referee as the foul was in the box, so it has to be a goalie restart. As Adriano DeSantos
we were
trying to
both
get off
looking at
run.
each other going, why is he stopping this flow of play now? But actually a good call by the referee.
Dustin Killick with a great call. See, we call it out when it's good.
Yeah, we said we're going to give him a credit a couple of times when they're correct.
Both times they're right. Is Adriano with the shot. Just wide. Donatelli can't finish. And Wilkin with 7 seconds left tries to send it down. He's got space. 2, 1, and the clock will run out. Well, we were thinking about this as we're going to have some time to fill in this broadcast. And we're going to have to figure out what to say. We're not. This is a great soccer game. This Rochester Lancer team has come to play, and we've got a great soccer game. So come back for the fourth quarter. The Blast only lead by 3. Rochester chasing that first win of the season. You're watching Blast Soccer, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter. And we're back with the fourth quarter in CQ Arena. 8-5, the Blast lead the Rochester Lancers. If you're just joining us, Rochester has played very, very well tonight. And a lot of hustle as they've worked this 2-3 zone to their advantage, creating some frustration with the Blast and then scoring on their counter opportunities. As Tariq, you said that would be the key for their game tonight. They are very much in this game as Nascimento picks up the foul down low. Not happy with the call.
This is working out. You know, they're down 3 points at the Blast Arena. I think Doug Miller would be not exactly happy with the score, but it's actually working out to his script, his game plan. Now they've got the Blast on edge, playing a little anxious, getting a little frustrated. So the Blast right now really need to just stick to their game plan. Keep moving the ball, keep taking chances, keep trying to get scoring opportunities, and mainly just make sure that they don't get frustrated.
Mello, long run down in the box as he gets spilled, and it'll be just outside the box as Mello almost went the length of the midfield.
I don't know why is it in 2 minutes, though. It should be a 2-minute penalty. I'm not sure. I mean, I understand where they're placing the ball. It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty kick, but that should be a 2 minutes. He's going on goal. He's the last man back on. If he gets through there, he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Not called. We'll see about as close a free kick as you can have. And Victor France drives it straight into the wall. Andrew Hoxie does the same on the rebound opportunity. And the Blast unable to capitalize, but they do maintain possession. Good ball across from Mike Diesel, finds Mello, able to flip the field and get a change, but Mello works it back across. Schmerman on the left side. Andrew Hoxie on that far side. They found success working in that corner. Can they get it down to Andrew Hoxie? He's looking for it. He wants the ball down there, and as you said before, the pressure coming up a little higher than it had been. Hoxie switches fields and goes to the corner.
Yeah, Doug Miller's definitely made the adjustment to try and take away that deep shot, that long distance shot. So their players in the top, the two players in the top of the 2-3 zone are definitely stepping out a little bit higher to pressure the ball.
Schmerman with the shot, goes wide and high into the, it looks like it was deflected actually, so it'll be a corner kick for the Blast. So after we see this corner kick, Tariq, you're gonna tell us how we beat that adjustment. As the ball goes through, Vance unable to find it. Dos Santos with the drive. And the ball will come out. So how do you beat that adjustment?
So what I haven't seen is if the two players do come out a little bit higher, we should see a Baltimore Blast post a central player up in the middle of the zone. They've been happy with getting the ball down low, which has created definitely some more opportunities. But now if they put somebody in the high post there, right behind those two high-pressure players.
Vinny Dantas wins the ball, sends it down to Victor France. We'll see if the Blast can make the adjustment as you see Vinny Dantas come higher. That's a position he's comfortable with.
Yep. But
the Blast lose the ball. D'Amico has space and a 3-on-2, but unable to do anything with it. A 33-16 advantage for the Blast in shots so far this game, but Rochester gamely staying in it.
This is the closest game that we've seen them play in?
It's getting close, absolutely. They've had a couple close ones, but this is definitely their closest opportunity, and Wright calling for the defensive restart, but it's not inside the yellow line, so he won't get it. Wolanski works it back out. Dos Santos, he's got some space. Finds Juwan. Juwan looks to send it across to Donatelli. Donatelli stumbling. Falls down. Look at that pass from Donatelli. Juwan Pereira. Man, oh man, how about that pass from Tony Donatelli?
What a great
He's
pass.
on his back.
He's on his backside, fighting off a defender, and gets his toe onto it to get it across to Pereira on the other side of the box.
Juwan Pereira doesn't leave any doubt with this finish. Look at that rocket shot. But here we see Donatelli on the ground, doesn't give up, fights for it, finds it. And that's about as good an assist as you're going to get in this league.
He was literally on the seat of his pants making that pass.
Juwan Pereira, he's pretty fired up with that And the Blast get the first goal of the fourth quarter.
That's the one thing with playing against the zone is you don't get as many scoring opportunities. So there is a bit of frustration that sets in when you're that team playing against the zone. That's what the Blast right now have to fight against the frustration, stay relaxed, and keep moving the ball and getting scoring opportunities.
Jeremy Ortiz tries to test William Vanzella from just short of midfield. As William punches the ball around. So we don't have any arena operations staff in that corner.
We should have a new ball in the box here.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Well, Blast will take the breath here, and I'm sure Rochester will as well. Finn and Reed on the top of the pressure.
Just get the new ball in.
You would think.
Blast right now, they don't want Rochester taking a breather.
First responders night here at CQ Arena. Mike Diesel, Jonathan Mello, Marco Nascimento, Jamie Thomas, and Lucas Roque all on the field for the Blast. Going right to left on your screen. Mello, Roque, back and forth. Nascimento looks for a second goal. He's got it!
Great drag. I haven't seen a drag like that since Denison Cabral.
Denny was just here the other day. Watching at home tonight as Nascimento does his impression, swings it back across, and the Blast widen the lead to 5. Let's look at this replay.
Mello makes a great pass across, and you see the two defenders slide out to make that block. Nascimento, he takes that drag with the right foot, drags it over, across his body. We coach that all the time to our U8s and your U9s. Fake a shot, drag it across your body, bang, left foot to the top of the net.
An impressive left foot from Nascimento to pick it up, and he's having a great game. Danny Kelly talked about that. He's getting an opportunity tonight to step in and get into play. He hasn't played in a while, came back from the injury. Is he earning a roster spot? He's earning that playing time, and he's stepped up tonight.
He's definitely doing that tonight. Doing a great job. We haven't seen him having to defend as much, but he's doing a great job in offense, keeping them under pressure, getting shots from the outside. He's had several shots that have been close, and like I said, that great drag roll, get it onto your solid left foot shot, top corner, great goal there.
And so for the Blast, a little breathing room, a 5-goal lead. 11:26 left. We had a Rochester timeout as Doug Miller knows that this is a great opportunity. Even if they don't win the game, this team is playing a competitive game in the fourth quarter in the road environment. This is a good learning opportunity.
He's a veteran coach. He's going to take those learning opportunities, those coaching moments, and to describe what the situation that just happened, and we move on from there. So he's a great veteran coach, like I said, and he's going to take those coaching moments, and not just for this game, but for the rest of the season.
Well, and you watched that happen in Utica. You saw Utica struggle for a couple years, and they had that, and they had that learning experience. And then you saw guys that had struggled, had lost for years, and then all of a sudden they're winning, and that turns into it. And so as you see Rochester losing right now, if you're a Rochester fan, you can turn it around. There's a commitment from Soccer Sam to build something there. You got a great environment in the Dome now. You got a place that you can play hopefully for a couple years without all the issues that they faced in the past. And from a business side, there's good an organization as you have in this league, and playing wise, that'll catch up. So if you're a Rochester fan, you got a bright future to look forward to, and a great opportunity to build off of here as they trail 10-5 in the fourth quarter.
And that was one of those situations where you take that negative moment, he takes a timeout, describes what the situation was, how to correct it, and they move on from there. So he'll, as a coach, he will probably never talk about that situation again unless it arises again. Now you've taken that negative moment, you've talked about it, you've discussed it, you put it in the back burner, and now you move on and build on the positive things.
And if you're a 22-year-old player and you're sitting out here, it's your first year in the MASL Big League, you played in the MASL2 last year, as that'll be top of the arc restart before it became a 3-line pass. These are the experiences that'll stick with you. You'll see that opportunity again when it's a game that does mean something, when it is something where you're not 0-13 and trying to get your first win, but you're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah. And all you can ask for as a coach with these young players is that they don't repeat mistakes. So you take that learning experience, that coaching moment, and you hope that you don't have to go review it again because you expect these young players to not repeat mistakes.
Dos Santos works the ball around. NDI steps on the field. Hadn't played as much in the second half. Good job winning the ball. Sets up Donatelli. Donatelli, the shot. And a goal! Tony Donatelli.
Looked like he was trying to go to the back post there. We have to see it on the replay. I think Vinny Dantas is sitting at the back post wide open, but that shot stretches, he makes it a stretch to get the shot off, and it creeps right into the back corner.
And Tony Donatelli now alone in 15th place in the all-time scoring list for the Blast. Danny Kelly now number 16. And Tony Donatelli picks up his second goal of the night to go along with an assist. I'm sorry, 2 assists. So 2 goals and 2 assists for the Blast captain, and it's now a 6-goal lead for Baltimore.
So Doug Miller right now is coaching his team and thinking about how do we respond. Let's not make sure we don't give up any more goals, but also get our foot on the ball offensively and get a response here.
Dantas.
Blast are thinking the exact opposite. They want to step up in their pressure, step up in their full court press and trying to create more turnovers so they can score when there's not a zone defense set up.
Well, the other interesting thing that we really haven't talked about is Vinny Dantas will get a foul here as he inadvertently carries over, and we'll see a blue card. Oh,
that's a little harsh.
Far official there is
far official pulls out a blue call pointing at his elbow. I didn't see an elbow come up from Dantas. I think he made a good body play there. He's a little bit late on the challenge into his back, but certainly didn't see an elbow there.
Vinny Dantas saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Well, an opportunity for Rochester to build on their power play points. As we saw, they've already scored 1 power play goal here tonight, beating the Blast penalty kill team. Going into tonight, they were 3 of 16 on the power play so far this season, so now 4 of 17, and this will be their 18th opportunity. They were the 14th ranked team in the league. And the Blast will have to kill this power play.
I guarantee you right now, Danny Kelly's is highly concentrating on this defensive effort for them. He's a defender by trade, played his career on defense, so he likes to make sure that his teams do not give up scoring opportunities.
Tony Donatelli sends it down to Mello. Mello just gives some cursory pressure here. He's content with running the clock off here, not looking for the shorthanded goal in a 6-goal lead. Mayanga. And it is very similar watching this defense and the ball working around. It does remind you of playing against that 2-3 zone. As the ball comes across, Cunningham looks to find Ortiz down low. He can't. Dos Santos wins the ball. Mello will send it down. And there's now 48 seconds left on the power play. Blast with a 6-goal lead. 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Long drive from Finn. Donatelli tries to win it but can't. Rochester will control. Finn now in the same position again. Dos Santos, great job sloughing off. He gets the ball down. Pereira has a breakaway. Pereira's on goal. Pereira settles across to Donatelli. Can't finish. Dos Santos can't finish. Dos Santos runs down. That's Alex Harling down on the ground as Dos Santos bodied him down to the ground. The Blast had 3 great scoring opportunities.
Shorthanded. Pereira makes a great steal. He shows a ton of patience. He gets the ball forward, shows a ton of patience, relaxes, waits for Donatelli to get involved in the play, lays it off a very nice ball over to Donatelli, and Donatelli misses a great opportunity there to stretch their lead.
15 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Blast. They've given up a goal in their only other opportunity to kill a penalty tonight. Danny Kelly, of course, would be very happy if his team does kill it, and it looks like they will as Diesel sends it down. 2-1, the penalty's released, and the Blast kill the penalty. Lucas Roque steps onto the field for Vinny Dantas, who goes to the bench. And with 6:50 left in the fourth quarter, the teams are at equal strength, and the Blast have a 6-goal lead. Rochester pressing high now. Interesting to see this as now they've gone to a full court press.
Well, they have to change a bit now because they're being down on the scoreboard. It's good to see they're not conceding and giving the game.
So Mello breaks the press. Roque's there. Nascimento tries to find Mello back, but good job by Rochester to settle back in the zone. Nascimento, great tackle. What is that call? Mark Bailey is directly on top of the ball. Nascimento gets all ball, and that call is coming from the other side of the field. Disagree with that 100%.
Second time in the last few minutes here.
As there, we'll see. Maybe that's a makeup call there as Harling works away as crossed. And Harling comes over and picks up Mello. Now, it's interesting. We are getting word, and maybe we couldn't see it from the angle. Maybe he did get it, is that potentially there was a handball there, as he may have played a ball with his hand when he was down on the ground. So
we thought it might have been an obstruction call, but it looks like it was a handball.
So if that is the call, and he saw it from all the way over there, good for him. As the ball works across to Dos Santos, shot and goal! Adriano Dos Santos, and the Blast lead 12-5.
Blasters, again, getting a lot of joy from that down low position. Instead of the cross going from straight across, now he banks it off the boards, and Dos Santos is able to follow up on that chance there. It's a nice volley.
Lucas Roque works it across, and Adriano Dos Santos, no handball there, as he buries that in the back of the net. And the Blast have blown this one open. I think now at this point, the Blast are pretty confident that this one will be a win, and that was in doubt for a while. But with that goal, it looks like we'll take the official timeout. Yeah, looks like we'll take the official timeout, so we'll take one too. The Blast lead 12-5, 5:52 left in the fourth quarter. You're watching Blast Soccer. We'll be back.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? No one comes into our house and pushes us around.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Campbell.
Uh-huh.
What kind of power you got?
Oh, man, you know I got some soul power.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. This could be the greatest night of our lives.
We shut them down because we can.
They don't know your heart.
On this team, we fight for that inch.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Let's go!
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
And the Blast worked the ball around. We were a little late coming back in. The Blast had won top of the yellow line restart. Mo Ndiaye with the drive. If it was a field goal, it was good from about 45 yards. Unfortunately, we are playing soccer, and that was a ball out of bounds. So you didn't miss anything while we were out, aside from that shot. And we're back in here with just under 5:30 left in the fourth quarter.
Tell you what, Ndiaye's done a nice job here defensively for playing typically a striker role, switching over to defense here. He's done a nice job tonight.
Cunningham has a chance but can't finish. Van Zelle equal to the task. And as we look at William Van Zella hold the ball, we need to talk about what he did last weekend. And, you know, it's been funny because you hear the messaging, and a lot of people said, yeah, he did it against Orlando and Rochester. Well, that's the same Rochester team minus some veteran players that scored 5 goals here tonight. But last weekend, William Van Zella was about 3.5 minutes away as Dantas draws the foul, 3.5 minutes away from shutouts on back-to-back nights. Put that in context of what that means from indoor soccer history. Going into last night, there have been 148 shutouts in indoor soccer history. In the entire history of indoor soccer history, there have been 148. In the last 7 years, there have only been 20 shutouts. William Van Zella's had 11 of those 20 shutouts as Dantas drives it high.
He's had a tremendous career, hell of a player, and what he does defensively doesn't even talk about, we're not even regarding what he does offensively with his feet and his distribution.
Especially in this arena, which has become a skill, absolutely.
It's been a huge change for him, and he's adapted to it well.
So, of those 11 shutouts, which, by the way, is an indoor soccer record all-time for a goalie, he owns that record solely by himself. Never in the history of indoor soccer has there been shutouts on back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
In fact, only 3 times.
That should be a player of the week.
Well, you know, there's some people that have that conversation. But you talk about that never happening in the history of soccer. In fact, the Blast, William Van Zella's, 3 times it's ever happened where teams have had shutouts in their back-to-back games. The Blast have done it twice with William Van Zella, but they've had a week in between as Sam Guernsey steps on for the first time, looks to find Dantas. Dantas can't settle it, and Sam Guernsey almost picked up an assist on his first shift. But William Van Zella almost became the first goalie to ever do it on back-to-back nights in the history of indoor soccer. 3.5 minutes away, a restart goal that he surrendered. And as you said, you know, not taking anything away. We had a shutout in Florida, and that goalie earned, you know, that team. And he also played a second game where he gave up 3rd goal. But, you know, when you look at William Van Zella, I think sometimes because, you know, he didn't face a lot of shots or he didn't, these achievements are underestimated. They're not given the appreciation that they deserve. And it's not to attack other goalies. There are a lot of great goalies in this league. But I think it is important to stop and look at what William Van Zella has done in his career and how rare a shutout is in indoor soccer. And that should be celebrated no matter who the competition is on the field.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job and well-deserving of some accolades. And I think part of that, too, comes from everybody around the league knows that the Blast concentrates so much on defense that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Well, and I think he would be the first one to complain not just about, you know, the recognition for himself, because I don't think he would do that, but I think the recognition that there was no defender that was named to the All-League team as well. And so Jamie Thomas with the shot, just pushed wide as Dos Santos looked for the assist. But I agree with you, it is a team, you know, thing, and I think what the Blast have done so well is been content not with Player of the Week awards, not with division titles, not with any of these things that come along with it, but the one thing that matters in this franchise, and you heard Ed Hale talk about at halftime, is winning championships. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's been a mantra for them for a couple years now. And now it looks like they're going to go to 9-6. We'll have to keep an eye on that Harrisburg Heat game in St. Louis. And then tomorrow night we're going to be back here again in the same arena to have a game against Orlando that they have to win. It's not a game that they can let down. We saw here tonight as this Rochester Lancers team was game, and Orlando's already beat the Blast once this season. So, you know, 2 minutes left here in this game, but for the Blast, staying healthy and getting ready for tomorrow.
Historically, the Blast have shown up in game-winning and need-to-win situations. I don't think they're stressed about it, but they realize the importance of it right now.
Games you should win, but games you need to win. They got a road trip to San Diego that Ed Hale talked about. That's going to be a difficult trip, traveling across country. You did it many, many times. The Blast will have to get ready for that. Haven't had a lot of West Coast road trips. As we see Mello drive, just wide. But, you know, for the Blast, they have a number of matchups coming up against Harrisburg, and they're going to go head-to-head. And so they don't want to be trailing 2 or 3 games going into those games against Harrisburg. They would like to be as close to tied as they can, knowing that Harrisburg has become a tough place to play.
Harrisburg has become a tough place to play, but Harrisburg right now is on a 3-game road trip. So they could easily pick up a couple losses in the next couple days here. So the Blast have to realize what position they're in. They have to own it and realize that they have some important games coming up here. And looking up into playoff spots is not something that they're accustomed to. But,
Andrew Hoxie's shot and a goal. There it is. That's the only thing left we needed tonight was Andrew Hoxie, the big forward, getting it going.
Yeah. He's had several opportunities tonight, just missing on a few of them, and so this right now for him to get a goal tonight, just coming off of injury and coming back, like we said, just starting to get his legs back from that time off and not being in the roster. So I'm sure he's happy with it. I'm sure the Blast organization are happy to see him get one tonight.
It was 1-on-3 with 3 defenders, and nobody went with him. Everybody kind of just kept falling back into that zone. Hoxie was waiting to make the pass, but nobody took him, and then went 5-hole on Brian Wilkin, and then a great way for the Big Smooth to end this game for the Blast. Of course, you know, it's got to feel good as a guy that played in Rochester. You know, he was not playing in that game up in Rochester last week, and so to get that goal here tonight, great feeling for him as he's now got 6 goals on the season.
It's always nice to score against the team you played for, no matter what level you're playing in. So
I know he speaks fondly of his time in Rochester. Great friends up there, Elliot Falski, one of his good friends, Jeremy Ortiz, of course, he came here to Baltimore with, and you know, nothing but respect for Soccer Sam. I know he constantly mentions how much he enjoyed playing for Sam, and you know, great career for him to play for 2 of the best owners in the league. As Vinny Dantas will get one more chance, and he scores. Vinny Dantas throw in the towel. Vinny Dantas, the Blast scored 2 goals inside the last minute, and they stretch this lead to 9. Vinny Dantas down low, and instead of passing,
every opportunity that they've gotten the ball down low, it's leaded to a scoring chance. And instead of Vinny passing it, he realized that the goalkeeper was late getting over to his first post, and he rams it into the top corner.
I said Hoxie ended it. I spoke too soon as Vinny Dantas, the big Brazilian forward, picks up the hat trick. That's 3 home games in a row that Vinny Dantas has had a hat trick. 3 games in a row. That's 9 goals. You know, he's just absolutely blowing the competition away. And for Vinny Dantas, that's a career high in goals now. 24 goals, new career high for him. And he's just continuing to climb up the leaderboard here, as now he has 102 career goals for the Blast to go along with 49 assists. Juan Pereira not settled as he looks to find Guernsey, and the Blast aren't dribbling this out with 10 seconds left. They're continuing to press. Schmerman works it across, and that'll do it. Well, it was a game effort from the Rochester Lancers. They left everything on the field. If you're a Lancer fan, if you're Doug Miller, a lot of positives to build on. But the Blast just too much here at home. And the Blast win 14-5.
You know, when you look at the Rochester and you look at that they're 0-13, 0-14 tonight, they definitely are a more quality team than their record shows.
Well, they will have the opportunity at the end of the season. They match up against Orlando. That'll be, you know, an interesting game for them. But if you're Rochester, you're intentionally, you know, you're playing and looking not just at this year. This isn't about this year. It's about building for the future, and a lot of seeds planted here tonight that'll pay off for them in the long run. If you're Rochester, if you're Baltimore, you did what you had to do. You struggled against the zone.
Yep.
You overcame in the second half.
You made some corrections. You made some adjustments. You struggled against the zone in the first half, but you're able to break the game open in the second half. Blast doing exactly what they want to do. Rochester, knowing that situation and having a new team and with younger players, they have some very big positive attitude that they can build off of.
If you're the Blast now, and you've done this many, many times in your career, you got to be back here tomorrow. 5 o'clock game against Orlando. You going home right away? You going out? What are you doing? You going to get an ice bath?
The preparation starts now.
Okay.
So as soon as you get back to the locker room, it's the protein shakes, it's the water, it's the ice baths, the shower. So all of that preparation for the next day starts right now. Some guys like to get a good meal. Some guys, you know, a nice glass of wine. It's not going to hurt you at this point to relax the muscles. So I'm sure the guys will, like I said, from right this very moment, they're thinking about tomorrow and prepare their bodies for another battle.
We'll be back here tomorrow. 5:05 is the start time. And as we look down, Gianni motioning up to us. Gianni was going to do the post-game interview, but I think we're going to miss it tonight as he's trying to get the players. The guys all ran out on the field. So we'll skip that tonight, and hopefully we'll get one in tomorrow. But, you know, as the Blast come back here tomorrow, a big game for them. We talked about it. They got to win that game. They have to win. We'll wait to see the results in St. Louis tonight. But either way, looking to pick up as Harrisburg will have another difficult game tomorrow as the third game of that road trip in Milwaukee, second place Milwaukee team that, is defending champion. So for them, a big opportunity for the Blast to pick up another game on Harrisburg and look to solidify their playoff chances. But they did what they had to do tonight. So
everybody at this point in the season is looking at scores around the league. So again, a game that they definitely needed. They get to creep up the charts, and everybody, like I said, everybody in the league right now at this point in the season is looking around to see what other teams are doing. They're watching the scoreboard every night and seeing what they need to do.
All right, and it looks like actually we are going to get the player of the game interview is Gianni. We can hear Gianni. There we had Tony Donatelli, as you heard there, the announcement, 24 hours away from being a father. The exciting news for him, not only picking up the win, but the fatherhood is
the only thing missing from that interview is you should have asked him, what are you going to say to Danny Kelly when you get in the locker room after passing him on the leaderboard?
Well, Tariq, you stepped in on late notice. Yeah. You came in. I really appreciate it.
I love being here. Love working with you.
Well, Hall of Fame privileges. You're allowed on the broadcast anytime. That comes with the card. You get it free to the games. Yeah. I think you get a medium popcorn at the concessions, awesome. And you come on the broadcast anytime.
That's
so
awesome.
Thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that'll do it here from CQ Arena. We'll be back in about 19 hours to do this all over again. But for tonight, the Blaster winners, 14-5. You watch Blast Soccer from CQ Arena. We'll see you tomorrow.